Hello everyone. So in this lecture we will be looking into our chapter theories of failure, and it is also known by theories of elastic failure. So we know that material is said to fail if elastic limit is exceeded or your plastic deformation take place, then your material is said to be failed. Okay. Now based on this theory, there are two failure methods of failure methods of failure. Okay, so first method is your yielding yielding or ductile failure. Ductile failure. Second method is your fracture or brittle failure. Okay, so in elastic material, in ductile materials, what happen that there is a plastic deformation range. Okay, after your certain point, that is also your yield strength. After your yield strength, what happens that material will start to undergo a plastic deformation. So that happens in case of your ductile failure, and is also known as yielding. If it is mentioned the material is undergoing yielding, it means that material is undergoing plastic deformation. Next, if we talk about brittle materials, in brittle material, what happens? There is no yielding. There is no there is no plastic deformation. Like after elastic limit, it fractures. Okay, so fracture or brittle material is in case of your brittle failure is in case of your brittle materials. Okay, now there are basically five theories which we study to determine what strength, what should be the dimension of your materials to withstand your applied stress. Okay, so if I talk about different theories of elastic failure. Okay, so first theory is maximum principal stress theory. Also known as Rankine or Rankine's theory. Okay, the second one is your maximum principal strength theory. Strain theory, and it is also known by your Saint Venant theory, known as Venant's theory. Okay, now if I talk about third one, so third one is yours maximum shear stress theory, and also known as Guest and Tresca's theory. Okay, if I talk about your fourth one, then fourth theory is known as maximum strain energy theory. And is also known as Hague and Beltrami theory. Okay, fifth one is your maximum shear strain energy theory. Maximum shear strain energy theory, and is also known as or distortion energy theory, and is also known as your von Mises or okay. So this is your not maximum strain energy, this should be your total, this is called total strain energy theory, okay. And von Mises or is also known as your maximum strain energy theory, okay. And now sixth one is your octahedral or maximum octahedral shear stress theory, okay. Like result for both your maximum strain energy theory and maximum octahedral theory is same, so both of them can be like sometimes are written together, okay. Now we will study each and every type of theory individually. Now let's talk about your first theory of elastic failure, that is maximum principal stress theory, also called as your Rankine theory, and this is generally used for brittle materials, okay. Now this theory says that a material subjected to complex stress, okay, will fail when the principal stress of the material reaches the yield strength. So sigma 1 is equal to, if sigma 1 is equal to sigma y, the material will fail, okay. This is for your tension, okay. And sigma 3 is equal to sigma y for compression, this is okay. So if we assume uniaxial load, for uniaxial loading we can say that sigma 1 should be less than equal to sigma y, or I can also say it as sigma permissible, okay. Or let me write it like this, that sigma 1 is less than equal to, or sigma 1 for design, okay, is less than equal to sigma permissible, okay. And sigma permissible is your sigma yield stress upon factor of safety, okay. So this is your relation, that is for your maximum principal stress theory, it should be like this, that sigma 1 maximum principal stress should be less than equal to sigma permissible. You should remember this, okay. Okay. Now if I talk about let's say your 2D stress, so I can draw, let's say this axis here represent your sigma 2, this axis here represent sigma 1, okay. Sigma 1 is major principal axis, sigma 2 is minor principal axis, okay. So in both directions we will be like looking into this, okay. Okay. Now if I want to draw this, so this can be drawn as like say sigma 1, if I talk about it in first direction, so this should be less than equal to your SIT, so it should be like this, okay. Now if I talk about sigma 2, sigma 2 should also be less than equal to this, okay. Similarly sigma 3, and I mean in compression also, that these terms should be like this only, okay. So it can be presented something like this, okay. So inside region is our like a region of maximum principal stress theory, okay. These values are sigma yt, this is minus sigma yt or syt, okay. This is also okay. And here if I talk about equivalent moment, So our equivalent moment ME, okay, ME is written as half of m plus square root of m square plus t square. Okay, and this must be less than equal to pi d cube by 32 sigma permissible. Okay, from here, like, you can calculate the required diameter of your shaft. Okay, now we can also talk about, let's say, your SY, like yield in shear upon yield in tensile stress ratio. Okay, SYT, and for this we will substitute sigma 1 is equal to SYS and sigma 2 is equal to minus SYS. Okay, and if we substitute this, so I will obtain similar, the thing will remain same. Okay, both will remain same, like sigma YS will remain equal to your sigma permissible. So this ratio is given by 1. Okay, now 3 equations we got here. Okay, and this is equation 1, equation 2, and equation 3 is this equivalent moment. Okay, these are 3 points. Now let's talk about the second theory, that is your maximum principal strain theory. Maximum principal strain theory. Okay, and this is also known as your Saint Venant's theory. Okay, and this principle, this theory is rarely used. Okay, now if we move into details, so according to this, your maximum principal strain in a complex stress system should be equal to your yield strain, okay, under uniaxial load. So our epsilon y must be, or let me write it like this, less than equal to your epsilon y. Okay, now I can write epsilon 1 is equal to, so for 1D loading, one dimension, I can write epsilon 1 is equal to sigma 1 by sigma 1 by Young modulus, sigma 1 by E is less than equal to sigma y, that is by E. Okay, so from here I can write that sigma 1 must be less than equal to your sigma y. Okay, or your sigma 1 for design, or I can write it like this, like, since we are studying into this form, so let me make it here. So we should keep it at sigma 1 only. Okay, so epsilon 1 must be less than equal to sigma y by E. Okay, and we can also write it as, or let me write it like this, sigma 1 for design, epsilon 1 for design, I can write it as less than equal to sigma permissible by E. Okay, and sigma permissible is equal to sigma y upon factor of safety. Okay, now if I, let's say, want to calculate your shear stress, relation of shear stress. Okay, so in that case, what should I do? I should substitute your sigma 1 value as sigma, but for that, let's first consider for 2D. If we consider for 2D, 2 dimensions, so I can write that epsilon 1 or epsilon should be less than equal to your sigma y by E. Okay, and this epsilon will be sigma 1 by E minus mu times of sigma 2 by E. Okay, is less than equal to sigma y by E. Okay, so from here what I can write it as sigma 1 minus mu times of sigma 2 must be less than equal to sigma y. Okay, now we know to calculate your SIS by SYT ratio, what we need to like we need to substitute your sigma 1 as SYS, okay, and sigma 2 as minus SYS, okay. So from here I will obtain SYS is equal to, or SYS into 1 plus mu is less than equal to sigma 1, okay. And if we substitute this equal to sigma 2, so we can write SYS upon SYT is equal to 1 upon 1 plus mu, okay. So this relation is also important one, okay. Or let's move, it was moved here, okay. Let's keep it here only. Okay, now if I want to, let's say, draw your like diagram for this, the reason, so the reason for this, so I can show it. Let me draw it here first. Sigma 1, and this should be our, sorry, this is our sigma 2 and this is our sigma 1, okay. Let's move it downward a bit, okay, and let's extend this line, okay. So from this equation, from two-dimensional equation, we can see that it is sigma sigma 1 by E minus mu times of sigma 2 by E, okay. So at sigma 1 sigma 1 is equal to 0, we have sigma 2 value is equal to sigma y by E, sorry, I mean sigma y by mu, okay. Now if I talk about similarly at your sorry, it should be minus negative term, okay. Okay, sigma 1 is equal to 0, this should be negative this value, okay. Now if I substitute sigma 2 is equal to 0, so I will obtain sigma 1 is equal to sigma y, okay, this value. Now if I like I would like to, let's say, draw it, so this should be a straight line, okay, and having your intercept at minus mu, so it would be something like this. So let me draw it perfectly, so it should look something like this, okay. Now these are our shear diagonals, this is our shear diagonals, shear diagonals, okay, and this angle is your equal to 45 degree. So this reason is your reason for maximum principal strain theory, okay. Now we will move to our next theory, that is maximum shear stress theory, okay, and is also known as Guest and Tresca theory. This is generally used for your ductile materials, okay, and this method is an over safe design, over safe, okay, over safe, okay. Now according to this theory tells us that tau max must be less than equal to your ultimate shear stress, SYT, okay. Now according to this, what we can write, so if we can find your tau max, so we can calculate further, okay, or we can also write it as tau max is less than equal to tau permissible, okay, for design, okay. Now how do we calculate your maximum shear stress tau max, okay. So for that, we know that when we studied your Morse circle, so we have written tau max as maximum of sigma 1 minus sigma 2 divided by 2 comma sigma 2 minus sigma 3 divided by 2 comma sigma 1 minus sigma 3 divided by 2. So maximum of these three will be your tau max, okay, and this should be less than equal to your SYS by factor of safety, that is also written as n. Okay, we know na that this can be tau permissible can be written as your SYS by factor of safety. Okay, so I can write it like this. Okay, now let's say I want to calculate. Okay, so this is your first relation. Let me mark it here. Okay, now if I want to calculate your relation of SY, so we can write for 1D, what we can write for 1D, your sigma 1 by 2 is equal to your SYS. Okay, now if your like sigma 1 maximum value, sigma 1 possible is your sigma YT, okay, or yield stress or sigma Y, okay, by 2. Okay, so what we can write, that tau permissible value, our tau permissible must be less than equal to your sigma Y by 2. Okay, or we can also write it as your sigma Y upon 2 times of factor of safety. I hope you understood till this point. Okay, now let's say if I want to calculate your ratio, so from here only I can say what I can see that SYS upon SYT is equal to 1 by 2. Okay, so if I want to calculate the yield shear stress, that will be your 0.5 times of your yield tensile stress with use of your maximum shear stress theory. Okay, now if I would like to, let's say, show it in a diagram, so let me move this a bit. So if I draw it here, this is your sigma 1 axis, this is your sigma 2 axis. Okay, now if I draw it, so it will be something like this. So it would become something like this. Or let me draw it in green color. Okay, so this is your relation. Okay, I mean your load. So this reason will give you your values. Okay, so these are your shear diagonals. Here this value is equal to your SYT. Okay, this value is equal to SYT. Similarly, this value is minus SYT, and this value is minus SYT. Okay, now similarly for maximum shear stress theory, we can write our equivalent torque is equal to square root of m square plus t square. Okay, and this value should be less than equal to pi d cube by 16 tau permissible. Okay, I hope you understood till this point. Okay, now we will be moving to our next theory. Now if we talk about total strain energy theory, so this theory is basically used in case of your hydrostatic conditions. Hydrostatic conditions. Okay. Now if in your total strain energy theory, we can write total strain energy, that is U, which is per unit volume, is actually your summation of 1 by 2 sigma I epsilon I. Okay, so this is our strain energy per unit volume. If we do summation along all three axes, so we will obtain our strain energy, and this value is equal to U is equal to, okay, or let me write it here only. U is equal to 1 by 2E times of sigma 1 square plus sigma 2 square plus sigma 3 square minus 2 mu times of sigma 1 sigma 2 plus sigma 2 sigma 3 plus sigma 1 sigma 3. So this is your total strain energy. Okay, now if we talk about 2D, so before that, let's talk about your total strain energy theory. So it tells that your design, like your system is safe when your strain energy, total strain energy, is less than equal to your strain energy in a uniaxial direction, that is sigma y square by 2E. Okay, now if we consider for 2D, for 2 dimensions, so I can write U is equal to 1 by 2E times of sigma 1 square plus sigma 2 square minus 2 mu times of sigma 1 sigma 2. This is your U for in case of 2D. Okay, and this term must be less than equal to or is equal to, for your like at critical condition it would be value will be what, but it would be equal to your S yt square by 2E. Okay, now if I substitute sigma 1 as SYS and sigma 2 as minus SYS, so I will obtain my ratio, that is SYS upon SYT is equal to 1 by root of 2 times of 1 plus mu. Okay, so this is your SYS by SYT ratio. Okay, I hope you understood this point. Okay, now if I would like to, like, let's say plot it on your axis sigma 1 and sigma 2 variation. So let's say that this is sigma 1 and let's say this is our sigma 1 and this is our sigma 2. Okay, so your total strain energy theory is like the equation if we see here, so it is basically in form of your equation of ellipse. Okay, so it is something like this. So this is how our like rhombus look like, our ellipse look like. Okay, and if we talk about the major like the dimensions here, so let's say this is your major axis. Okay, and this is your minor axis. Okay, so this distance if we talk about, and this distance. Okay, so your this distance is your SYT upon root of 1 plus mu, and this distance is SYT upon root of 1 minus mu. Okay, and one more thing, this is inside your, this is your SYT, this is your SYT. Okay, So it is inside your SYT square, that is maximum principal stress diagram. It is inside, okay, ellipse is inside that of that square, okay. Now moving to the next theory. Now we will look into your maximum shear strain energy theory and your octahedral shear stress theory. So I mentioned earlier that both theories provide the same result, same output, okay. So we will consider them together, okay. So what is the statement of your distortion energy theory or maximum shear strain energy theory says? It says that that a shear strain inside a body should be equal to, should be less than equal to your shear stress due to shear strain due to your yield stress in a uniaxial direction, okay, for material to be safe, okay. So we know that our total strain energy, total strain energy is equal to volumetric strain energy, volumetric strain energy plus shear strain energy, shear strain energy, okay. So total strain energy we know that we have like calculated the value of U earlier, okay. And volumetric strain energy we can write it as half into sigma average into eta epsilon volumetric, okay, volumetric strain, okay. So this is your volumetric strain energy per unit volume, okay, plus shear strain energy which we have to calculate from here. It is US, okay. U value I mentioned here, okay, this value. Now if we solve this, so we will obtain our US, that is shear strain energy value to be 1 by 3g times of sigma 1 minus sigma 2 by 2 square plus sigma 2 minus sigma 3 by 2 square plus sigma 3 minus sigma 1 by 2 square, okay. So this is your shear strain energy. Now this maximum shear strain energy theory says us that for material to be safe, your US, that is maximum shear strain energy theory, so the maximum shear strain energy value must be less than equal to strain energy like developed in your uniaxial case, okay. So sigma y square by 2 by 6g, okay. So from here what we can write? We can write that US for design must be less than equal to sigma permissible square by 6g, or we can write it as sigma y square, and for this case is for designing, okay, 6g times of n square, okay. So this is your condition. And if we talk about your octahedral shear stress theory, so this is basically your shear stress on your octahedral plane, okay. So octahedral plane is basically the planes which are your equally inclined to principal planes, okay. Now there are eight planes, okay, and octahedral shear stress value, that is tau oct, is given by 2 by 3 times of sigma 1 minus sigma 2 by 2 square plus sigma 2 minus sigma 3 by 2 square, okay, plus sigma 1 minus sigma 3 by 2 square, okay, and this whole to the power 1 by 2, okay. This is your octahedral shear stress, okay. Now again, for no failure, your tau octahedral must be less than equal to root 2 by 3 times of sigma y, okay. And if we solve these both equations, So from here we will obtain our like main equation for your octahedral shear stress theory and maximum shear strain energy theory. And that if I like for write for 2D equations for 2D, so I will write it as sigma 1 square plus sigma 2 square minus sigma 1 sigma 2. Okay, and square root of this term, square root of this term will be equal to, or instead of square root, let's write power 1 by 2 is equal to, sorry, is less than, must be less than equal to sigma y. Okay, or I can write it as like this value must be less than equal to sigma y square. Okay, now it is permissible value, so we can write permissible here. Okay, and divide by n. Okay, so this is one of the important examples. Okay, and these both theories are your mainly used in case of your ductile materials. And these two theories are best for ductile materials. Okay, now similarly, if I want to, let's say, calculate your SIS upon SYT values, so I can like calculate those values for using this equation. Okay, SYS by SYT, this value will come out to be here 1 by root 3. Okay, so in case of your ductile materials, we generally use your SYS value to be 1 by root 3 times. Okay, so with this we have completed our chapter theories of failure. Okay, and now, okay, and one more thing I forgot to mention here, your diagram. Okay, so let me mention it. Okay, and if I want to, let's say, calculate, like draw it on your sigma 1 and sigma 2 axis. Let's say this is your sigma 2 axis. Okay, and this here is your sigma 1 axis. Okay, this is also an ellipse, okay, so it's something like this. Okay, but one thing, okay, let me draw it again. 2 and this is 3. So this is your ellipse. Okay, now I will rotate it, and rotate it by 45 degree. Okay, so this here and like is your diagram for this. Okay, and they cross the axis at SYT lines. Okay, SYT lines. Okay, and if we talk about the major axis and minor axis, so this major axis has the value of root 2 times of SYT, and this minor axis have the value of your root 2 by 3 SYT. Okay, and with this we have concluded our chapter theories of failure, and now we will move to our questions. Okay, thank you.